Hello and welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is David Poland. And now we're going to discuss autism in the workplace. So let's start with bias. We all have it. Nobody is without bias. So where do we pick up these biases? Well, yes, we can learn these from biased authors of books we read, but we also can get it from people we highly respect who taught us wrong. Our parents, bosses, co-workers, professors, police officers, doctors. It is possible they had picked up untruths and biases. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will have a surface level understanding and will be able to recognize the signs of autism in your own policies and staff behavior. Professionally approach staff to eradicate autist behavior and replace audist policy language with appropriate terminology. Let's start with defining what is autism. A man way back in 1975 named Tom Humphreys coined that word, defined as discrimination against the culturally deaf or those who lose hearing. To expand on that, any person, policy, or business can be audist. Autism is not limited to only people who use sign language. Autism can be directed at elderly and veterans who lost hearing, people who talk good, or use hearing aids or cochlear implants. It does not matter the kind of deaf or hard of hearing person. They can face autism that is very subtle or very blatant. Autism is the belief that a fully hearing person is superior to a deaf person. Most businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies are opposed to discrimination. But most organizations do not recognize the signs of autism. They don't know how to unchecked autism impacts their business. How does autism impact your workplace? If you have staff who later lost hearing, they may have began with wonderful work and professionally. But recognize work quality has declined, lower self-esteem, become unusually quiet, and not as engaged. If you have deaf customers and clients, you will lose them. The word will spread fast, and your business will be labeled not deaf-friendly. To prevent the negative consequences from happening, here's what you can do. If you use the words hearing impaired in your company policy, that's a derogatory slur. So here's a warning. Do not ever use this terminology ever. Yes, you may meet a person who lost hearing later in life who accepted that perspective. But for culturally deaf who sign an ASL, that is a racial slur. Never use it. Whenever you find in your policies the HI word, remove it and replace it with this, deaf and hard of hearing. That is a correct language to use. Next, not all people benefit from hearing aids or cochlear implants. It's not professional or appropriate to ask people about their weight. It's not correct to ask people who wear glasses How blind are you, right? But if staff ask other staff who are deaf lots of questions, or they ask prying questions of clients, do you have a hearing aid? Why aren't you using your hearing aid? That's not professional, it's not appropriate, and that is an act of audism. Have a staff meeting to educate them on appropriate language to use. Also, include recognition of deaf people as diversity, similar to people having different colored skin tone or eye color. We all can hear differently, we're not all the same. How the physics of sound travel works is complicated. It isn't necessary to get into that, but be aware, this is not your business. The technology a person needs, they know their body, and they have a right to privacy. And they have a right to request accommodations for their needs. Do not refuse a request for CART or ASL interpretation because they have a hearing aid or a cochlear implant. It is possible in some situations they need in order to participate. It is not wasting your money. Through the ADA, most businesses and government agencies are required to provide that. Next, I suggest you review your human resources hiring practices. Read the language used in those ads. If a position says it requires a person to hear and strong, fluent speaking skills in English, does the job actually require that? An example would be a front desk job. It is possible to provide a person who speaks clearly a caption phone. They simply read the captions and they have no need to actually hear. It is also possible for an ASL user who does not speak and is profoundly deaf to use a video phone, VRS. The staff does not need to talk, but they can use a phone. Could it be possible to exchange emails, text, or just jot down notes? Do you need good communication or the ability to speak and hear? If you want to hire a person who is deaf or hard of hearing, or you want to retain a person in your workplace that has lost some hearing, provide them with either a caption phone, like Caption Call, or if they sign, give the person a VRS device from Sorensen or Purple Communications. Those companies will provide the technology for free at no cost to you. Your business will only need to have a landline and internet. That's it. So there's no reason to be against hiring a person who cannot hear, who cannot speak good. Next, does your organization have a website? If the answer is yes, do all the videos have captions? Accurate, real captions? It's really important, especially for a government agency. Whatever the politician says, who is the elected representative, it should be accurate for all the deaf and hard of hearing citizens to read and know precisely what the person said. Why? Because taxpayers have a right to that access. Create a transcript and put it down below the video, especially if you cannot caption it. If possible, get a qualified fluent ASL interpreter to provide access. If it's an American English, it should be also an American Sign Language. Next, I suggest you review your promotions and your pay raises. Read the spreadsheets for all the departments and years to look for names on the list of staff. How many of your staff are either deaf or have hearing loss. Okay. Next, check how many years the individual worked there in the same position. And note if they've improved skills. Note if that person's developed new skills. If a person has talent and is a hard worker and has never been promoted and never given a pay raise, ask yourself, why not? That could be discrimination against them. Autism. Offer the deaf or hard of hearing person a promotion. Let them decide if they want to accept it or not. They will likely feel a boost of self-confidence if recognized for their skill, and it's possible that offer will motivate them to work even harder and do better and feel satisfaction in the workplace. Also, if you recognize their hard work, give them a pay raise. That too can make them feel stronger loyalty to the company. Thank you for your time. I hope this helped you to find ways to improve your business, nonprofit, or government agency to reach the goal of becoming a deaf-friendly workplace and inclusive business. Please do contact me if you have any follow-up questions related to autism. And watch for the next video, How to Become an Ally. See you later!